Whether you're opening a new restaurant or trying to streamline your existing restaurant's operations, there's one thing you must optimize before anything else: your restaurant operating budget. If you're new to the restaurant business, you can have everything lined up and ready to go: the perfect menu, an ideal location, and a great clientele ready to serve. Yet, there's another ingredient that's required for realistic, sustained success: a practical and precise budget. Why? Well, simply put, a budget assists operators in understanding their potential profits and maintaining consistent profitability. The lack of a restaurant operating budget is a primary reason why 60% of restaurants fail within the first year and 80% within 5 years. Without a clear picture of your restaurant's monthly expenses and other key financial metrics, it's nearly impossible to understand your financial health, properly forecast, or enable yourself the ability to adjust on the fly when needed. RASI's complete financial reporting, including our budgeting expertise, is a significant factor behind our clients' success. 91% of our first-year restaurants remain in business after year one when working with us. RASI's hospitality-specific accountants utilize historical metrics, enabling operators to build out more accurate budgets, increasing the precision of your forecasting. At RASI, we truly understand the nuances of the restaurant industry and can apply that knowledge to actionable insights within a budget, allowing for understanding your restaurant's monthly expenses, the opportunity to adjust for unforeseen circumstances, maintaining consistent profitability, the ability to be proactive as opposed to reactive, flexibility in staff training, plan for rewarding teams with bonuses and wage increases, the ability to provide the proper tools for their team's success, understanding potential profit and how it relates to your debt servicing, and stabilizing costs and increasing cash flow, just to name a few. The foundation of every restaurant budget starts with restaurant monthly expenses. Here's a restaurant budget breakdown of expenses for which every operation should consider. The two most significant restaurant expenses are your prime costs, which is made up of your cost of goods, so your food costs and drink costs, and your labor, or otherwise known as your payroll. When formulating your restaurant's operating budget, always think big first, literally, with prime costs. Next, there are your direct operating costs, which include items like the following: linens, supplies, cleaning chemicals, entertainment within the restaurant, contracted labor, fees, and licenses. After your direct operating costs, don't forget about advertising and promotional costs. Press releases, website ads, emails, and other marketing promo-related expenses fall under this category. For example, if you're creating buzz around your restaurant's upcoming grand opening, consider that a single event, which might require extra room in your budget to cover all your bases for marketing purposes. The final three expense categories are general and admin costs, which includes general overhead, admin expenses, etc. Repair and maintenance costs, everything from interior decor to parking lot upgrades, along with equipment repairs and things alike. The last of the three is occupancy and rent. Note that there are other factors you'll want to consider as well, such as retail and bonuses, owner-related expenses, and amortization and depreciation. The difference between fixed, variable, and semi-variable costs is what we'll cover now. Within each of the cost categories that we previously mentioned, there are different rates at which they occur. This is considered fixed, variable, and semi-variable. The variances are as follows. Fixed costs. These are your expenses that remain stable because they don't tie directly to your sales. An example of a fixed cost may be your rent. Although some landlords allow for rent affixed to sales, that's the exception, not the rule here. The next is variable costs. Variable costs are just what the name implies. They're varying. An example of a variable cost is your cost of goods. Product prices fluctuate greatly dependent upon many underlying factors that operators simply cannot control. Budgeting, however, can help mitigate these fluctuations. The last of the three is semi-variable costs. These costs are comprised of fixed and variable costs. Your labor can be deemed a semi-variable cost since you have both salaried employees, which is falling under that fixed cost category, and then hourly employees, which is always going to be a varied cost. So, what are some budgeting best practices for restaurant operators? Now that you have a general idea of your restaurant's monthly expenses, it's time to build your budget. Depending on your restaurant's current status, budgetary priorities can vary drastically from month to month. To cite just one example, the costs associated with opening a restaurant are much different from a firmly established restaurant consistently tweaking and perfecting its budget. That said, no matter the size or status of your restaurant, it's a best practice to consistently review your budget and ensure you're on track with both expenses and profit projections. A consistent review process positions operators to look at their current results in relation to their targets, analyze where the areas of opportunity may lie, and set strategic goals for their team moving forward. Always remember, even the most robust restaurant budget needs to account for inflation and unexpected expenses. Your budget should foster a proactive approach rather than a reactive stance. In other words, your budget should be the ultimate anti-fragile resource that your restaurant has. Lastly, your strategic budget should always be SMART. It should be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. A budget is just one part of your restaurant's path to success. Not sure how to create a restaurant budget? With RASI's multi-tier industry expertise in every aspect of the restaurant, you can request the demo to see our ERP solutions in action and get started on your journey towards growth. Thanks so much for joining us this week on the Tip Share. We hope you enjoyed. We'll see you soon.